Morning in the modern world is a dance of invisible signals. Every breath we take is supported by a global web of satellites. But 93 million miles away, the sun has just released a coronal mass ejection. A billion tons of superheated plasma are racing toward us at 3 million miles per hour. At Beyond the Scenario, we don't look for the light. We look for the moment it fails. The silent storm has begun, and the first casualties are drifting thousands of miles above your head. Center, this is Flight 202. We've lost all GPS sync. My primary navigation is spinning. I'm seeing massive electrical interference on the flight deck. These are the last words of a pilot before the sky goes dark. The solar wind hits the magnetosphere like a sledgehammer. Satellites are literally fried in orbit. Their sensitive electronics melt into useless scrap. Communication isn't just difficult, it is becoming physically impossible. The digital heart of humanity is stopping. In Times Square, the billboards flicker and scream with static before turning into black voids. Every smartphone on Earth becomes a cold brick of glass. This isn't a software bug, it's physics. The solar particles are ionizing the upper atmosphere, creating a curtain of radiation that blocks every radio frequency. You reach for your phone to call for help, but there is no signal. There is no internet. There is only the hum of a world that is about to go very, very quiet. All units, this is command. We have a total satellite blackout. Proceed to analog protocols. Do you copy? There is no answer. The silence is spreading from the stars to the streets. We take our connectivity for granted, but it is a fragile tether. Without GPS, global shipping halts. Without the internet, the world's knowledge is locked away. Subscribe to the archive to stay connected before the last tower falls. We are moving from the digital age back into the dark. The high-altitude radiation is now interacting with our power lines. The very wires that feed your home are becoming antennas for the sun's rage. This is the geomagnetically induced current. It flows through the long-distance cables, building pressure like a dam about to burst. Engineers at the grid center watch as their dials peg to the red. The transformers can't take this much load. We have to shed the grid, disconnect the East Coast, now. But it's already too late. The sun doesn't need a weapon to destroy us. It just needs to remind us how dependent we are on the invisible. As the first hour ends, the sky begins to glow with a terrifying neon green aurora that reaches as far south as the equator. It is beautiful, and it is a herald of the end. The grid is groaning, the lights are flickering, and for the first time in a century, the human race is about to learn what dark really means. Stay tuned. The storm is just touching the ground. The second hour of the silent storm brings the fire to the ground. Across the continental United States, the massive high-voltage transformers, the literal heart of our civilization, begin to smoke. These aren't just fuses that can be replaced. They are 10-ton giants of copper and oil, and they are melting from the inside out. Base, we have a catastrophic failure at the substation. The transformers are literally exploding. This is the sound of the 21st century burning. A total grid collapse is not a simple power outage. It is a cascading failure. When the big transformers die, they can't be rebuilt quickly. It takes months, sometimes years, to manufacture a single one. Now imagine a world where every single one dies at once. From New York to Los Angeles, the lights don't just go out, they die forever. The digital silence is now an electrical grave. Like this video to help keep the archive alive. We are diving into the aftermath. In the hospitals, the backup generators kick in, but they rely on fuel pumps, and those pumps are electric. In the cities, the water stops flowing. Why? Because the massive pumps that move water to your sink are powered by the same grid that just vanished. Emergency services, please respond. We have no water pressure. We have no way to cool the reactors. The city is becoming a furnace. The luxury of the modern world is a thin mask, and the sun has just ripped it off. The banking system is the next to fall. Every dollar you own is a digital ghost on a server. When the server farms lose power and the backup batteries fail, your money disappears. You go to the ATM, but it's a dead box. You go to the store, but they can't take your card. Commerce stops. The economy doesn't just crash, it evaporates. At Beyond the Scenario, we explore the logic of the collapse. In a world without power, the only currency left is what you can carry. Citizens are advised to remain in their homes, Do not attempt to travel. All traffic signals are non-functional. All emergency lines are overwhelmed. This is the last broadcast before the radio towers go silent. The silence is no longer a metaphor, it is a physical weight. The only light left in the sky is the sun, and the only light at night is the stars. You are alone in a dark room, surrounded by useless technology that was once the center of your life. The grid meltdown is the Great Reset. It takes us from the information age back to the 1800s in a single afternoon. No cars, no phones, no light. But humans are resilient. Even in the dark, we start to plan. We start to survive. But the silent storm isn't done with us yet. The sun has one more gift to give, and it is the most terrifying one of all. Tell me in the comments, how long could you survive without a single piece of technology? The answer might surprise you. Day 3. The silence has become a way of life. The grocery store shelves are empty because the trucks can't get fuel and the supply chains have shattered. This is the just-in-time trap. Our society only carries 3 days of food at any given time. Now, that time has run out. We're seeing the first signs of civil unrest in the urban centers. People are desperate, they are hungry, and there is no one coming to help. The social contract is written in electricity. Without the internet, we have lost our collective memory. We don't know how to do anything without a screen to guide us. How do you find water? How do you preserve food? How do you defend your home? At Beyond the Scenario, we see the analog return not as a choice, but as a survival necessity. We are forced to use the tools our ancestors left behind. The rotary phone, the paper map, the mechanical clock. They are the only things that the sun could not touch. The hack. A man sits in a dusty library, surrounded by the smell of old paper. He is holding a manual typewriter, his fingers hitting the keys with a rhythmic clack, clack, clack. Audio. Log entry 104. The satellites are falling like shooting stars. The screens are dead, but the ink is still real. We are writing the history of the end, one letter at a time. This is the pattern interrupt. In a world of high-tech failure, the simplest tool is the most powerful. The weather begins to change. Without the global monitoring systems, we can't predict the storms. We are blind to the hurricanes and the heat waves. The earth feels wild again. The air is cleaner, I suppose, but it's also more dangerous. Every cold snap is a death sentence for the elderly. Every heat wave is a fire risk. We have traded our comfort for our lives. Subscribe to the archive to join the survivors. We are documenting the birth of a new, harder world. In the countryside, life is slightly easier, but the isolation is absolute. Small towns become independent kingdoms. Without a central government that can communicate, the nation dissolves into 1,000 pieces. We heard a rumor that New York is gone, that the coast is a war zone, but we don't know. We only know what we see with our own eyes. The global village is dead. Long live the local village. The scale of human life has shrunk back to the distance you can walk. The Dark Age is a test of character. It reveals who we are when the masks of our profiles and our status are stripped away. Are we neighbors or are we predators? The sun's fire has purified the world, but it has left us cold. But there is a path forward, a way to rebuild. But it requires us to go beyond the scenario one last time. What would you miss most from the digital world? The music, the photos, or the connection? Let's talk in the comments below. Year 1. The first light bulbs are beginning to flicker back to life in small, isolated grids. We are rebuilding, but we're doing it differently. We are building for resilience, not just efficiency. Every new wire is shielded. Every new transformer is buried deep underground. We learned the hard way. The sun is a harsh mistress, and we were arrogant. We built a world of glass and expected it to last forever. The recovery is slow, painful, and necessary. The atmosphere has finally settled, and the solar maximum has passed, but the scars remain. The ozone layer is thin, and the ultraviolet radiation is higher than ever. We have survived the silent storm, but the Earth is a different place. We are a different people. At Beyond the Scenario, we look at the payoff of the catastrophe. We have lost our digital dreams, but we have gained a hard-won reality. We know exactly how fragile our civilization really is. Houston, this is Apollo 22. We've established a stable orbit. We can see the lights coming back on in Europe. It looks like a heartbeat. This is the first signal from the new space program. We are going back to the stars, but this time we are bringing the lessons of the dark with us. We are no longer children playing with toys. We are survivors building a future. Subscribe to the archive to see how we prepare for the next extraordinary event. But there is a final dread that stays with us. The sun is an 11-year clock, and every cycle brings a new chance for the big one. We are currently living in a solar minimum, but the maximum is coming back. We have 10 years to finish the shielding, 10 years to protect the internet, 10 years before the next storm hits. Are we fast enough? The countdown never really stops. It just resets. Stay curious. Stay terrified. The archive is always watching. As we close this scenario, we look at the Earth from space once more. It is no longer a dark marble. It is a flickering, growing light in the void. We have gone beyond the scenario and come out on the other side. But the void is infinite, and there are so many more archives to open. What happens if the magnetic poles flip? What happens if the sun suddenly goes quiet? The questions are endless, and the answers are waiting in the dark. Thank you for walking with us. Beyond the scenario, total tech collapse, a world reset to zero. If you survive the silent storm, click the video on your screen now to see what happens when the oceans move to the poles. We are building the ultimate library of the end. Subscribe, hit the bell, and keep the lights on, because the sun is still there and it's still watching. This is the end of the loop. Signing off. Sleep well if you can. The archive will see you in the next disaster.